We need to build a wall, and it has to be built quickly.
Good morning. It is 9:07 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners. You get those at betterwater.com. We got a full show for you today. Mason Fleming is producing. He's in the executive producer spot.
Ooh.
He doesn't get executive producer pay,
No.
but he gets the title.
And only on Fridays.
Sam Rutherford's in the newsroom as well. What's up, Sam?
Nothing much, man. How are you?
I'm good. We have a busy show today.
Yeah, just a little bit.
So, for starters, should we lead with the bad news? I lead with the good news. We got Monty Fritz on at 10:05. He's running for governor, and he's featured in a new documentary called Climate Trail, which is all about weather modification, geoengineering. So we're going to talk to him about that. I watched the documentary last night. Super good. Gets a little bit out there at times, but I'm here for that kind of stuff.
Is it tinfoil hat worthy?
I wouldn't go that far, but there's a couple things in it that I'm like, I wish we could have stayed a little bit more on message. Like, so I weather modification, spraying, aerosols, aluminum, stuff like that, like I'm all in on. But then when some of the guys in the movie go, and when they heat up these cell towers, have you ever seen tinfoil in a microwave? And it's like, okay, like, let's stay on message because like there's stuff we can prove, and then there's like fringe weird stuff that goes along with this conversation that we can't prove. Monty didn't go into the fringe weird stuff, but he was in the documentary. And I think it's a good documentary, one worth watching, Climate Trail. It's available on Amazon, but we'll talk to Monty Fritz. He's also running for governor here. That's 10:05. 10:35, we got John Thorpe in studio. John Thorpe is, maybe you haven't heard of him. He is an independent candidate running for that Mark Green congressional seat against Matt Van Epps and Afton Bain. John said, hey, nobody's giving me any interviews, and I would like to come on. And I said, I'm happy to have you come on. Let's have a conversation. I'm down for the conversation. Obviously, I mean, you know how it goes. I'm gonna support Matt Van Epps, and I think that John understands that. But let's give him an opportunity. State your case, man, by all means. So that should be a good conversation. And hey, tell me why conservatives shouldn't vote for Matt Van Epps. Because I don't see a lot of reasons not to. We'll talk to him. We were going to have Monica Page on at 9:35. She's our White House reporter. She had her 20-week ultrasound appointment. So she was doing something much more important, so she can't make the 9:35.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's kind of important.
She sent me a picture of the ultrasound. And so I hearted it, and I said, awesome news. But can I be a little bit honest?
Yeah.
Ultrasound pictures weird me out a little bit.
I'm glad it's not just me.
I have 4 kids. Been very excited about my own ultrasound pictures with my wife.
Yeah, that's your wife, though.
Other people's ultrasound pictures, just, I don't know. Like, it's just like, okay. All right.
Looks like a black and white photo of some Play-Doh.
Yeah. And then it's like, well, that's what inside your belly looks like. It's like, cool. That's that. And if can I go a step further?
I don't know.
Brand new baby photos also creep me out a little bit.
Yeah.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke. Here's the thing. I love brand new babies, and they're adorable. but they need like a little decompressing time. You know what I mean? Like they
Good rinse.
Yeah, let
you
'em fill
know,
up with air
it's
a
like a
more.
little bit smushed still.
I'll self disparage here real quick. I love my father, Paul. Love you. He VHS recorded my birth.
Oh.
Yeah, and then made me watch it when I was 10.
I was about to say,
Ugh.
have you seen the clip?
I've seen it,
Ugh.
and my brothers.
That's
And-
weird.
Yeah, I refused to watch my sister's tape. I was like, mine and my brother's was enough. I didn't need to see the moment that the suffering started. Talking about my brother being born, not me.
That's pretty messed up.
He was happy. It was the late 90s, and, the home video camera had really taken off at that point.
Yeah.
But it wasn't late 90s when he showed you the video at 10.
No, it was early 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah, we recorded ours on an iPhone with a selfie stick. I'm just kidding. We didn't do any of that. We didn't do any of that.
Lies.
I've been told if I even take a photo of my wife on delivery day, I'm a dead man.
So I completely
can't blame
agree. Yeah, she's a smart woman.
Yeah.
So Monica Page isn't going to make it today. She was doing much more important things. I told her, congrats. We love her. Don't worry. And then I said, let's pick it up after Thanksgiving because I have spent the last 3 days thinking Thanksgiving was next week.
Dude, I've been doing the exact same thing.
Is it
It's
just
driving
me
nuts.
or Thanksgiving should honestly be in the third week of November?
It just makes the most sense.
Shouldn't it be the third Thursday of November?
Yeah, because then it gives you a week to be able to recover, and then you go into Christmas time.
And it would be even better in Tennessee because the third Saturday in October is, like exactly a month before that weekend. That's
Yep.
Alabama, Tennessee.
Like, I mean, come on, guys.
Its own little holiday.
Who do we write an email to get this fixed and fast?
Probably the first lady. She gets stuff done.
Jesus?
What?
I'd go with Jesus.
I mean, he controls the whole next month,
it's-
basically, and
All right,
he's
draft
the higher authority.
draft a letter. I'll sign it.
All right, get in contact with the big man.
Get Jesus on the phone. We need to.
Here. Yeah, hold on. Let me just...
But you guys, him and the Pilgrims are pretty tight. I'm pretty sure of. So it has to work.
Yeah. He was kind of adamant about the whole conversion thing when that happened.
It's true. All right. So we got Monty Fritz, John Thorpe. I think I'm pretty sure that's his name.
The
I
lightning
hope I
ring.
didn't mess it up. No, it is. It is John Thorpe. This is one of the things he's going to be battling against, man. Name recognition.
See, I was gonna say,
I'll be honest with you. Like, this is what you're up against, running for Congress in Middle Tennessee as an independent. So we'll talk to him about that. How do you overcome that? Also, we got a lot of news to get to in a very short amount of time. Let's begin with this. Gavin Newsom's California issued 17,000 illegal alien CDLs. This is according to a bombshell federal audit. Breitbart has the story, and I'm already thinking that number seems low. Does anybody else feel like 17,000 feels low? This is what we're hearing, though. Federal audit was just happened. Gavin Newsom's California illegally issued 17,000 driver's licenses to dangerous foreign truck drivers. 17,000. Let's do some napkin math, right? So if we're doing napkin math, we got 48 states, okay? 17,000 illegal drivers. So just because of Gavin Newsom's California, this doesn't take into account New York, Illinois, Virginia. It doesn't take into account any of the other states that are issuing these. Just because of California, at any given moment in any state in this country, you could have 354 illegal alien truck drivers out there. That doesn't make me feel good. Does that make anybody feel good? Feeling good about that? I'm not feeling good about that at all. In fact, it was just the other day, I'm driving in on 24, and I saw a truck coming up behind me, and I went, not today, and I got into the next lane because I don't want to get rear-ended. I can't be the only one that's thinking that on the highways, right?
Yeah, I avoid semis like the plague.
Well, you got to continue doing that. Again, 17,000 illegal alien truck drivers issued CDLs in California alone.
California is revoking 17,000 commercial driver's licenses issued to immigrants.
Yeah, the decision is directly related to the legal status of the immigrant drivers.
Eyewitness News reporter Madison Weil live in our newsroom with these details. Madison.
Yeah, John, Rachel, Tony, that's right. The state says the licenses are being revoked because they're set to expire after the date the drivers are allowed to be in the U.S. The move follows pressure from the Trump administration, although California says these licenses violate an existing standard that was already in place.
So why did they have them? Why then?
A nationwide audit was recently launched after a man from India with a commercial driver's license issued by California allegedly killed 3 people in Florida while making an illegal U-turn back in August. After that incident
allegedly.
and a national review, the Department of Transportation threatened to pull $160 million in federal funding from California, claiming the state is issuing commercial driver's licenses to undocumented immigrants. Still, Governor Newsom says that every driver whose license is being revoked had valid work authorizations from the federal government.
They just, couldn't speak or read English. So don't
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. Allegedly.
Another horrific crash that has kept this issue in the spotlight is one that happened in Ontario last month. It involved an undocumented man from India who is now facing vehicular manslaughter and reckless driving charges after 3 people died in that fiery wreck.
That one was crazy in Ontario, California.
Yeah.
So, Joe Bob, he's a friend of mine, a Turning Point contributor. He hosts Turning Point tonight. He's been on the show a couple times. He lives in Ontario, California, and he says he drives that highway like 2 or 3 times a week.
Oh, wow.
He's like, that one hit close to home. No kidding. So I don't know, man. Maybe it's just me, but I can't see a truck coming up behind me and not think about it now.
No, I try and get out of the way all the time now.
So it's also important to point out that it wasn't Gavin Newsom out of the goodness of his heart revoking these licenses. It was Sean Duffy's Department of Transportation announcing that they issued 17,000 CDLs to foreign truck drivers. And it was Sean Duffy's Department of Transportation who's saying, after weeks of claiming they did nothing wrong, they've been caught red-handed. He said, now that we've exposed their lies, 17,000 illegally issued trucking licenses are being revoked. This is not Gavin Newsom revoking them. This is not California revoking them. This is Sean Duffy's Department of Transportation. He said, and mind you, I made the comment earlier, 17,000 seems low. Sean Duffy thinks that too. He said, this is just the tip of the iceberg. My team will continue to force California to prove they've removed every illegal alien from behind the wheel of semi-trucks and school buses. Duffy said that 17,000 foreign truck drivers were issued CDLs by California, and they have now been notified that their licenses do not meet federal requirements and will expire in 60 days. So we got about 2 more months of this. 2 more months of nail biting as you're thinking to yourself, could be about 354 illegal alien truckers in my state at any given moment. Could be more, could be less. But 17,000 divided by 48, it's napkin math. Last week in a sit-down interview with Breitbart News, Washington Bureau Chief Duffy called out Newsom for failing to follow the federal government's English language proficiency standards that have been in place for decades. And as a result of Newsom's failure to follow such CDL standards, DOT has withheld more than $40 million in federal funds from the state of California. Keep holding those funds. Hold them accountable. We need this, especially as we head into the holiday weekend. I'm waiting, and I pray it doesn't happen, but I'm waiting for the headlines to come across that a family traveling for Thanksgiving to go visit family has been taken out by an illegal alien trucker. It seems like with the increased traffic on the road, the amount of illegal aliens that we have out there, this is almost a pre-planned, predetermined news story that's going to be coming across our desk after the Thanksgiving travel weekend. Does anybody else feel like that? I pray I'm wrong. I hope I don't see it. But I have a hard time thinking that we won't. I just do. It's insane. We have too much illegal aliens in this country. We have too much immigration going on. One of the big topics this week has been the H1B visas. And I saw something last night online. It was from CNN. It was from Abby Phillips. And it actually gave me great pause. Because Abby Phillips, who is a Democrat, she is a liberal, she's a mouthpiece for the Democrat propaganda machine that is CNN. Abby Phillip is saying that H-1B visas aren't being used for geniuses and that the H-1B visa system is rife with abuse. This is a red flag, and we need to pay attention to the liberals changing their talking points on this, and I'll tell you after we play this clip.
The H-1Bs right now are not going to shipbuilders.
Because we don't build ships here.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
but also
that's why
because
they're not
if
going
you're
to.
building, hold on, if you're building ships for the U.S. military, you're probably not doing it on an H-1B. That's the first thing. But the second thing is they're trying to sort of like shoehorn this policy into their tariff policy, and it's really not that. I do think the H-1B program needs some attention. It needs some degree of reform.
Abby, do you want the next
seems,
Einstein to come to America
no.
or to Shanghai? What do you
Kevin,
want?
It's about fighting
Kevin,
for talent and
but,
people that are brilliant.
I'm not fighting against an H-1B visa, folks. I'm the daughter of immigrants. Both my parents are naturalized citizens of this country.
So you should be for bringing people here.
I am saying there are real concerns that people have about companies that abuse the system.
We're talking about genius, bringing 65,000 geniuses to America.
Kevin, you know that it is not just geniuses. Sometimes they're abusing the system and sort of bringing in medium to low wage workers to.
How many of them are at Meta or at Microsoft?
Well, I mean,
or at
listen,
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, or at MD Anderson, where they have people
in the
coming.
White House.
Guys, when you find yourself agreeing with Abby Phillip more than I think that's Eric Erickson or Kevin O'Leary, we have a huge issue. The Democrats are seizing on this. They're going to seize on this unless we get our messaging straight on the H-1B visas. To say that we need these people here is going to be a very unpopular opinion with the American people, both left and right. And this is why Abby Phillips feels like she has runway to say this, because she's aware of how unpopular these programs are for both left and right. If we want to be the party of working people, we need to remedy this and remedy this fast. We can't be coming out in support of H-1B visas like Ben Shapiro or Kevin O'Leary or anybody else. That's not a winning recipe. We need to push back against them, and we need to push back hard. Otherwise, the Democrats are going to pick that up and run with it. Do you want the Democrats to become the party of working people again? They have an opportunity here if Republicans don't wise up. We'll talk a little bit more about this on the way. It's 9:23. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at United Structural Systems. You got family coming over for the holidays? Well, maybe it's time to make sure that the waterproofing is fixed. I don't know if there's rain in the forecast, but could you imagine if you have family over and it starts to rain and then that water's getting into your crawl space and into your basement? That would be a disaster. Don't let that happen to you. Call USS. And while you're walking around the house today, look for some red flags. Are you seeing floors sagging, cracks showing up in the drywall, your doors not shutting right? That could be foundation issues. And those foundation issues aren't going to fix themselves. Call the guys who have been doing this for a long time. Since 1994, United Structural Systems have been keeping Tennessee homes dry, stable, and secure the way they should be. If you have foundation issues, USS is going to use American-made adjustable steel supports built to last and backed with a transferable warranty. From I-beams to custom crawl space repairs, these guys are going to fix it right the first time. Call the best. Call USS 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855, or find them online, USSTN.com.
One Republican governor is facing some backlash over a clemency decision, and a heartwarming story here locally. Those stories and more coming up on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
928 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's Chris Hand.
Oh,
I bit my tongue a second ago.
Amandus.
As I'm trying to say Chris Hand, I bite my tongue.
That's not efficient talking.
My wife would like me to do that more. It is. We got Mason Fleming producing. We got Sam Rutherford in the newsroom. The show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. You can listen to us anywhere. iHeart, tune in the FM dial. You can watch the show. Super Talk TV is up and running on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit share. Help us grow the digital footprint of the radio station. We're talking about H1B visas. I honestly didn't want to talk too much about them today. I felt like we've gone over it ad nauseum yesterday and the day before. This really stems from President Trump's comments during the Laura Ingraham interview. I'm not even upset about those comments anymore, but we do need to get on brand with messaging here at the Republican GOP movement. We cannot let the Democrats pick up this crown and run with it. H-1B visas are unpopular with everyone on the left and on the right. We can't let Democrats steal this issue, and I do think that there's an opportunity for Democrats to steal this issue from us. And I think they're already starting. We heard Abby Phillips last night arguing with Kevin O'Leary about how H-1B visas, Abby Phillips, the Democrat mouthpiece on CNN, says that H-1B visas are not going to geniuses. And she's right. She's right. It's 2025, November 2025. I'm agreeing with Abby Phillips. 80% of the H-1B visas in this country go to entry-level jobs. Entry-level. These are not doctors and lawyers and geniuses. That's not that. These are guys that are undercutting American workers. Abby Phillips understands it. Where's the rest of the conservative movement? We'll talk about this a little bit more in depth. There's one member of the Republican Party, or two, a couple of them. Marjorie Taylor Greene speaking up. Roy Green is speaking up. We'll bring you some of those highlights on the way. It's 9:30 Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning, everyone. It's 9:31, and I'm Sam Rutherford with your headlines. Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt is facing some backlash from his fellow Republicans for his decision to grant clemency to a death row inmate. Tremaine Wood has been sentenced to die for the 2002 stabbing of a man during a robbery at an Oklahoma City motel.
This is Jim Ryan. Governor Kevin Stitt was following the recommendation of the Oklahoma Pardon and Parole Board when he commuted the death sentence of Tremaine Wood to life in prison. State Attorney General Gentner Drummond said he's disappointed that the governor had granted clemency for this, quote, dangerous murderer. Hours after the commutation, Wood was found unresponsive in his cell. He was taken to a hospital and treated for what prison officials said was dehydration and the effects of stress. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
And fallout from a high-profile DOJ firing, per the Tennessee Star. A bar complaint was filed yesterday against former Justice Department lawyer Irez Ruvini, accusing him of breaching attorney-client privilege in the explosive Kilmar Abrego Garcia case. Ruvini was axed in April after venting frustration in court over defending DHS in Abrego Garcia's lawsuit. The accused human smuggler, who's now facing trial next January on trafficking charges. The nonprofit Democracy Restored claims Ruvini's post-firing media blitz, including leaks to the New York Times and 60 Minutes, violated California bar rules on confidentiality, all timed suspiciously during his ex-boss's judgeship bid. They warn it could greenlight political leaks from government insiders. Ruvini, repped by whistleblower advocates, calls it retaliation. And locally, a News 2 story that tugs at the heartstrings and fills the bowl. Metro Social Services is stepping up for families facing food insecurity, but not just for people, also for their furry companions. Marking 1 year since launching their food giveaway program, the initiative now partners with the Southern Alliance for People and Animal Welfare, or SAFPAW. Every Saturday, SAFPAW delivers puppy chow to those in need, while Metro provides 300 meals weekly to ensure pet parents get nourished right alongside. 1 in 5 Nashville kids grappling with hunger even as SNAP benefits resume. Officials say it's crucial. Harriet Wallace of Metro Social Services put it perfectly: pets are our family members too. We love them just as much as we care for them. SAFPAW Director Lori Green adds, if pets are eating, we want their parents to eat too. A simple act is closing a big gap. because no one should choose between feeding themselves or their furry family. That's the latest news. We've got your weather coming up next. I'm Sam Rutherford, WTN News.
Hey, it's Chris Hand here for my friends over at Floor Nash. Ricky Dar is a fantastic guy. Sorry, I was talking to Mason off the air, and then I forgot that I had to do a commercial here. It was your fault, by the way.
Yep, totally my fault.
Let me just start from the jump. Floor Nashville. Do you need some floors? Well, how about you support a business that has biblical values and a business that uses their profits to keep revival alive right here in Nashville? This is what Ricky Dar and Floor Nashville is all about. They've been doing floors since 2006. Ricky Dar does the whole thing. 25 years of experience serving our city with craftsmanship and care you can count on. They'll bring the showroom right to your home. You can sample flooring in your own space, see if it works with your stuff, get expert guidance from professional installers. You can enjoy same-day in-home estimates delivered electronically. Hardwood, carpet, tile, luxury vinyl, custom showers. Floor Nashville does it all. Precision installations every time. And then beyond the beautiful floors, on the first and third Saturday of every single month, Ricky Dar gives back through Revive the City. They bring the gospel to the streets of Nashville. You can learn more about that at revivenashville.net. And you can transform your space today and do it while supporting a local Christian business that's making a difference. Schedule your free home estimate right now at floornashville.com or call Ricky right away, 615-613-4684, 615-613-4684. It's 9:38, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can listen to us anywhere, iHeartRadio, tune in the FM dial. You can watch the show, Super Talk TV, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Rumble. Monty Fritz, he's running for governor, and he's in a new documentary called Climate Trail about weather modification and geoengineering. He's actually the guy that got it banned here in Tennessee. However, you look up the skies, you're not so sure it's banned. We're going to talk to Monty Fritz about it here on the way, 10:05. Looking forward to that conversation. Also, 10:35, John Thorpe. He is an independent running for Congress against Afton Bain, Matt Van Epps. He wanted to come in and talk about his candidacy. I said, absolutely, come on in. So we're going to have a good conversation with him at 10:35. I'm getting a lot of texts on the text line following up. A lot of people are mad about the illegal alien truck drivers. They're mad about the school buses. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them. I also got a text here, 1190. We were talking about usually Monica Page is in, and she couldn't make it today because I had to bump her earlier, and then she's got to go to the doctor. She had to go to the doctor for an ultrasound, and she sent me an ultrasound picture, which I'm very happy for her, and I pray that the baby's healthy and mom's great. I love all that, but ultrasound pictures are weird. and I got a text from 1190, and she said, "I'm a woman and a mother, and I've worked in healthcare for 20 years. Ultrasound pics look like images of tropical storms, and newborn pics look like naked squirrels." She said it, not me.
Fact check true.
Hey, she's been in the business. She knows what she's talking about.
She's in the business. She's in the business.
In the business.
I'll defer to the experts.
Yeah, the medical experts.
I'll defer. I'm not a doctor.
Not a doctor.
I've never seen a baby squirrel or a naked squirrel.
I haven't either. Have you seen a hairless bear?
What?
No.
That's weird.
What? Where did you see a hairless bear?
Did someone wax?
Instagram.
Oh,
No, it was
Is it AI?
No, it's real.
is it a disease?
It's so I think the one I saw was one that was in captivity. They had to like shave it for some reason for yeah.
Oh, see, I thought someone had just waxed Bert Kreischer.
I like the one that they shaved, and he kind of left him like a little lion's mane.
Yeah, like a little hair around the scruff, some mutton chops to make him look.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, I feel like it's almost scarier than regular bears.
Way scarier than regular bears. And the skin's a lot saggier than I expected.
Yeah, click on one so the way people on the stream could see it.
All right.
Like, look at that thing.
That's weird.
I don't know why. Like, giant.
Do you just like fall asleep and see these things in your nightmares? Is that what happens?
No, they crawl out of my closet and crawl towards me. It's weird.
Jeez.
It normally only happens when I take too much Benadryl.
What in the world? All right. Didn't know I needed that nightmare fuel.
You're welcome.
Thanks. All
Almost
right.
as creepy as Nancy Pelosi.
Nancy Pelosi. Ugh. I have a piece of audio for her in this segment, by the way.
Oh, I'm ready for it.
I still stand by the fact that she should be managing Social Security in her retirement.
I think that's one of the best takes you've had all week.
It's a take of the year.
Yeah. Talk about it in Mostly Peaceful, too.
If we're going to be doing insider trading, let's do it to benefit the American people.
Yeah. Fatten all of our wallets.
Who says no? Here's. Oh, no. I don't know if I can read that. Can you see what 5644 texted in? This is in reference to Sam telling us that his dad filmed his birth on a VHS camcorder.
Oh, no, I'm pulling it up.
Will you read 5644?
Oh, you want me to read it all?
I think you need to read 5644's text. I don't want to read it, but he starts with "Please forgive me, guys," and I'll let Mason take it from there.
All right, I'm not pre-reading this. Please forgive me, guys, but this is it. This is my opinion. Filming live childbirth is like watching a wet Saint Bernard crawl through a cat door.
I was a 9-pound baby, so you could not be more accurate in your description.
Oh.
As the images flash through my eyeballs once again from 15 years ago.
Okay. Abby Phillips last night on CNN.
Happy to contribute.
Abby Phillips last night on CNN. Making the point that conservatives on the panel should be making, yet the liberal mouthpiece on the panel was making it.
The H1Bs right now are not going to shipbuilders.
Because we don't build ships here.
Well, yeah, but also
that's why they're
because
not going
if you're building ships for the U.S. military, you're probably not doing it on an H-1B. That's the first thing. But the second thing is they're trying to sort of like shoehorn this policy into their tariff policy, and it's really not that. I do think the H-1B program needs some attention. It needs some degree of reform.
Abby, do you
but
want the next Einstein to come to America or to Shanghai? What do you want?
It's about fighting
Kevin,
for talent and
but,
people that are brilliant.
I'm not fighting against an H-1B visa, folks. I'm the daughter of immigrants. Both my parents are naturalized citizens of this country.
So you should be for bringing people here.
I am saying there are real concerns that people have about companies that abuse the system.
We're talking about genius. Bringing 65,000 geniuses to America.
We're not talking about geniuses, Kevin. Everybody understands that, right? 80% of the H-1B visas are going to entry-level positions that are undercutting American workers. We know what the score is. Stop gaslighting. It's the most infuriating thing. And when I find myself agreeing with Abby Phillip, and I'm looking at Kevin O'Leary like, what are you talking about? That is even more infuriating. We have to fight for the people, the American people, the workers. What are we doing? This is how we won in 2024. You cannot take the stance that we need to bring more people in. We need to be going the opposite route. We need to go with what Chip Roy said. I called him Roy Green earlier. That's a buddy of mine. I didn't mean that. Chip Roy out of Texas. He said, he said, I want an immigration pause, all immigration until we get our feet back on solid ground. And I think that that's much closer to the way the American people feel than anything else. Freeze it all. Shut it down. That's what we need to do. We need to shut it down. Somebody, anybody, please. It's bad when we know that this is unpopular on the left and right. Abby Phillips is picking this up and running with it. The Democrats are probably going to pick this up and run with it. And I don't think that we should let the Dems steal this issue. We need to own it. To be fair, though, I think that while somebody like Abby Phillips gets it, I don't think a lot of the higher-ups do. And Nancy Pelosi was talking yesterday. She found a podium. And she's stuck on old immigration talking points. She was saying that mass migration is because of climate change. So it's like, I don't think that all of the Democrats have gotten their updated script, but we can't let them steal this issue. This was Nancy Pelosi yesterday, the vodka skeleton, if you will.
Then we also, some of us on the immigration issue had traveled to the Northern Triangle a few years ago, and what we found there is one of the reasons people were migrating to the United States is what has been mentioned, and that is they had a drought, the people couldn't farm, so they didn't have a job, and they didn't have the food that farming would produce. Hence, they were coming to the United States. So this is, again, as the Congresswoman mentioned, a migration issue, which is an economic issue. So this is, again, economic, as Congresswoman Castor said. It is not only a moral issue, but it is an affordability issue as well.
Moral affordability. These poor migrants are fleeing climate change. This is insane. We need some level-headed thinkers on this issue. Marjorie Taylor Greene, not one of the ones that you would jump to and say level-headed thinker all the time, although she does do some good things. She is pushing legislation that will fully abolish H-1B visas, and she announced that yesterday.
My dear fellow Americans, I'm introducing a bill to completely eliminate the H-1B visa program, which has been riddled with fraud and abuse and has been displacing American workers for decades. There will only be one exemption in my bill, and it will allow for a $10,000 per year cap on visas issued to medical professionals like doctors and nurses who provide life-saving care to Americans. However, even this $10,000 per year cap will be phased out over 10 years to allow us time to build our own pipeline of American doctors and physicians.
I love that. Listen, let's get rid of it. Let's not blow it all up immediately. Let's do this phased. Let's be reasonable about it, and let's build up Americans to fill these holes. Who says no? I mean, to be fair, we need more than the H-1B visa holders out. We do. Canada's stepping up. Did you see what Canada said? Canada is going to, they actually announced a $1.7 billion plan to recruit the top H-1B visa holders from the United States. And I just would like to publicly thank Canada. You guys are more than welcome to take our top H-1B visa holders. We applaud the 51st state for doing something for the great of the nation, and we won't get in your way. Canada is going to do the right thing by us. That's pretty cool. But we need more than just the H-1B visas out. This is a small piece of the pie. Yesterday, there was a liberal TV station in Dallas, and they tweeted this thing out, and Old Row Swig from Old Row, he sinked his teeth into it. WFAA, they posted this thing on Instagram, and it said at least 44,000 school-aged children in North Texas may be at risk of deportation, according to a report. 44,000 in the Dallas area. Let's game that out. Dallas ISD spends on average $13,000 per student annually on education. If you multiply that by 44,000, you're getting right around $574 million per year. Taxpayers footing the bill. People understand that this needs to change. And I'll tell you what, they sent J.D. Vance out yesterday to start changing the conversation. J.D. Vance sat down for an interview with Hannity. It was a lot more cordial than the interview between Trump and Laura Ingraham, but Vance is already focusing on affordability and how the administration is going to tackle it. This is the messaging we need if we're going to push back against all of these talking points.
I know that there are a lot of people out there, Sean, who are saying things are expensive. And we have to remember they're expensive because we inherited this terrible inflation crisis from the Biden administration. But you've already seen signs that things are getting better. The price of eggs has gone way down. The price of energy has gone way down. The price of gasoline has gone way down. And as we know, when the price of energy goes down, that starts to filter out into the entire economy, but that also takes a little bit of time. There's another component of this, Sean, which to me is maybe the most important because I care so much about our young people being able to afford a good life. A lot of young people are saying housing is way too expensive. Why is that? Because we flooded the country with 30 million illegal immigrants who were taking houses that ought by right go to American citizens. And at the same time, we weren't building enough new houses to begin with, even for the population that we had. So what we're doing is trying to make it easier to build houses, trying to make it easier to build factories and things like that so that people have good jobs. We're also getting all of those illegal aliens out of our country, and you're already seeing it start to pay some dividends.
That's what effective messaging looks like. That's how you counter the affordability talking points. That's how you discuss what you're doing, and you don't do it by saying, "Well, we need all these migrants. We need them." That's effective, and I'm grateful that Vance went out there to do that. 9:52. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. If you got family coming over for the holidays and you have a slow or clogged drain, you are flirting with disaster, my friend. Don't wait around and hope it's going to fix itself. Call Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling and take advantage of their 93 or free mainline opening special. What this is they'll either clog your main line, they'll unclog your main line and clear it out for just $93, or it's free. This is a November-only deal. It's a great way to keep your home running smooth before the holidays hit and you have people over. And I love this. They're doing so much more. If you got a favorite Thanksgiving recipe, share it. You can win $2,000 off a new HVAC system. Sure, it's Grandma's secret stuffing recipe. But that could get you $2,000 off a new HVAC system. And if you're the runner-up, Grandma won't be disappointed either because you get $1,000 off your new HVAC system. Winners are going to be announced on Facebook Live on November 21st. Send Busy Bee your recipe. But again, I don't want to bury the lead. 93 are free, mainline opening special. If that drain is backed up, don't wait. Call Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling today. 615-775-7833. 615-775-7833. BusyBeeHVAC.com. Pete Hegseth speaking earlier. They've gathered all of the top generals in the entire world, brought them to Quantico and said, stop being fat and gay. Maybe I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but that's generally the message that we're getting.
No more identity months, DEI offices, dudes in dresses. No more climate change worship. No more division, distraction, or gender delusions. No more debris. We are done with that shit. Standards must be uniform, gender neutral, and high. Frankly, it's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon. But if the words I'm speaking today are making your heart sink, then you should do the honorable thing and resign.
Stop being so fat and so gay. Let's focus on the mission. If you can do the job, you're welcomed here. No matter your sexual orientation or your skin color, but we're getting back to merit.
One California Democrat may not be doing swell well after the Department of Justice starts its investigation into him, and one industry is being lit up, and not in a good way, in the government's reopening. Those stories and more on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It's 9:58, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Mason Fleming's producing. We got Sam Rutherford in the newsroom, and in studio is none other than Monty Fritz. Monty Fritz is a state representative, a friend of mine. He's running for governor. Great guy. And I actually watched a documentary last night that Monty stars in, and it's called Climate Trails. It's available on Amazon Prime and anywhere you can really rent or buy movies digitally. Good documentary.
Yes.
And it's a topic that I think people are waking up to more and more and more.
Yes, I agree, Chris.
Geoengineering and weather modification.
Yes.
People look at you like you're insane if you talk about chemtrails sometimes, but it's like we got to keep talking about this.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but over in Rutherford County yesterday, it seemed like they were spraying in the skies nonstop.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like I'm seeing things, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think you are. I think it's well documented that we have lots of different forms of geoengineering taking place, from cloud seeding to the stratospheric aerosol injection stuff that you were probably seeing yesterday. It's well documented. Tucker Carlson just did a big show with one of the Dane Wigington, who's kind of led this effort for a long time. It's an interesting thing. I had a Democrat, I won't use his name, called me yesterday, and he said, Monty, you were right. And I said, really? What's that about? And he said, the whole weather modification, the cloud seeding. He said, I just learned about that. And he said, we were skeptical when you got this House Bill 2063 through, but there's something to this.
Yeah, I mean, we were really excited when you got that bill through, but it's tough to enforce.
Yes.
Because state airspace only goes up like 1,000 feet, and then above that, it's all federal control. So it's a wild issue. I want to talk more about the documentary. I want to talk more about geoengineering and cloud seeding, get an update on the governor's race, and a whole lot more. Monty Fritz is in studio. Hang out with us. It's 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning, everyone. It's 10 o'clock, and I'm Sam Rutherford with your headlines. A high-stakes Washington clash, Fox News reports. The Trump Justice Department has launched a criminal probe into California Democrat Eric Swalwell over alleged mortgage fraud, and the congressman's firing back, calling it pure payback. It stems from a fresh referral by Federal Housing Agency Director Bill Pulte to Attorney General Pam Bondi, accusing Swalwell of lying on loan documents by claiming his D.C. condo as his primary home, potentially dodging millions in taxes plus insurance and state fraud angles. Swalwell, one of Trump's fiercest foes with a lingering lawsuit against him, was not shocked. Quote, the only thing I'm surprised about is that it took him this long to come after me. He vows no retreat. Of course, I will not end my lawsuit against him. I refuse to live in fear in what was once the freest country in the world. As Swalwell, previously entangled with a Chinese spy, eyes a California governor wrong as his feuds heats up. It is worth noting in 2019, Swalwell endorsee, New Hampshire State Rep Bruce Lawton, who goes by Stacy, was arrested for child pornography and child exploitation charges over the summer. New backlash over a provision in the measure that reopened the government this week. Part of it closes a loophole that allowed hemp companies to create and sell high-potency THC products with little oversight from the federal government. This new measure caps hemp products at 0.4 milligrams of THC per serving, which is far below nearly all the products on the market today. David Thomas is COO of Delta Beverages and says while the industry is generally in favor of regulation, this goes too far and threatens many companies.
There's $28 billion in money that flows through the industry, and over 300,000 people that are directly related to employment.
Locally, 3 lives were lost on I-24 westbound in less than 24 hours in 3 separate incidents, a grim tally that began before dawn yesterday. It started around 5:30 a.m. near mile marker 9 in Clarksville, where a driver veered off the roadway and plunged into the Red River below, about 19 to 20 feet, dying on impact. Then at 1:45 p.m., near mile marker 53 on Briley Parkway, a dump truck collided with 2 passenger vehicles, killing a 70-year-old Fairview man. No other serious injuries were reported there, but the third and final crash came in just after 7 p.m. in Antioch near mile marker 43. A vehicle left the roadway and struck an embankment. The driver was pronounced dead at the scene. All westbound lanes stayed closed until shortly after midnight last night. All 3 fatalities remain under investigation by the THP and Metro's Fatal Crash Unit. Drive Alert Nashville. That's the latest news. We've got your weather coming up next. I'm Sam Rutherford, WTN News.
10:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. The show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can listen to us anywhere, iHeart, TuneIn, the FM dial. You can watch the show, Better Water. We watch the show, Better Water LLC. Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Rumble. Hit like and hit subscribe. Monty Fritz is in studio. Monty Fritz is running for governor in the great state of Tennessee. And I just saw Monty last night in a documentary called Climate Trail. Good documentary. Good topic, and a lot more people are learning about this and waking up to what's going on right above our heads. Those straight lines in an X pattern and in a grid are not clouds.
And circles.
Yeah, they're not clouds, believe it or not. Can you give me a breakdown on what weather modification in geoengineering is, more affectionately referred to on the internet as chemtrails? Because when I talk to people about it, they think I'm crazy. Until I can literally point it out in the sky and be like, no, look, you see how it's skinny on that end, but if you follow this straight line, it's a lot fatter towards the other side. And then look at this cloud over here. This is spread out a lot more. It's not a cloud. Yeah. Can you give me a coffee table version of what this is?
I'll try to. And the reason that we did HB 2063 in prohibiting geoengineering, because I think that entails lots of things. Not just perhaps some of the stratospheric aerosol injection that you may or may not see, where the sulfur dioxide or the metals or polymers are injected into the atmosphere, dispersed to try to block the sun. But I think then it goes into different levels of the atmosphere, down to the cloud seeding. Utah recently took credit for being the state leading the nation in how much cloud seeding they're doing. And so when you listen to the companies that do this for these states and these municipalities, they're harvesting more rain. Well, that's a problem because downstream, I think God created this to all work really well. And downstream, if I harvest 10%, and that's the number they use, 10 to 11%, more precipitation in this area, downstream, they're likely getting less. So that's a water rights issue. Secondly, I can't believe that we want anyone to monetize our precipitation because then at some point in time, only the wealthy get rain and snow. I think the same thing is included in the carbon capture. We don't talk about that a lot, but it's a form of geoengineering. You look at some of the things that the government has done for decades to try to influence weather patterns during wartime in Vietnam.
Yep.
The whole Project Popeye thing.
And that's where it really started, right? They increased typhoon season to give them an advantage in the war.
It seems to be, yes. And what I had read on the State Department report was they questioned the ethics even during wartime to do that because they were achieving 9 inches of rain in 4 hours to wash out the roads and everything. And, we were messing with something we shouldn't mess with. More importantly, and I think that's evil, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's unconstitutional as well because we, the people, have not consented to being test subjects. I don't want the polymers, the aluminum, the strontium, the barium, the silver iodide that we're using in the cloud seeding of propane. I don't want that in my drinking water. I don't want that in my soil. There are reports that it's hurting farmers.
Yep.
And that heirloom type seeds just aren't producing because the aluminum content in the soil's going up.
Well, and people will look at you like you're crazy for saying this stuff, and you could just tell them, test your rainwater. Yeah. You can test the rainwater. In the documentary Climate Trail that you're in, they're testing the water. They're getting the results back in different parts of the country, and they're saying, look, we have the results. Yes. At one point in the documentary, there was a woman in California, I believe it was, where she's tracking the airplane that's doing the spraying. Mm-hmm. She then confronts the pilot inside the airport at 1 a.m., this small little airport. It didn't look any bigger than the little one we have in Murfreesboro, right?
And he admits it.
He admits it. It was insane because he didn't quite admit it. He said we're not creating rain, we're creating snow on top of the mountain.
Yes.
So the pilot knows exactly what he's doing.
Yes.
The people that are executing these contracts know what they're doing. The companies know what they're doing. It's all out there for public record, but if you talk to your average citizen on the street and you go, that's not a cloud, they'll look at you like you're insane.
Yeah. So we when we passed that bill the first year, and it just has a small penalty, and again, there's existing law that we found that, Chris, that Title 58-2-116 calls for the governor on a continuing basis to use his agencies to evaluate, if you will, conditions that might create catastrophes, and weather modifications included. And that's like 25-year-old code. So it's not the newest of things. And while we, with our recent law, have probably led the nation, we've got, and I think Tennessee ought to lead, we've got like 30 states that are trying to do something. Florida passed some law better than ours, I think. Marjorie Taylor Greene has attempted to file something,
to do it nationwide.
Yeah, the dumpster fire that's Congress, who knows what that will be. But to try to do that nationwide, and that's important. So I think I'm happy that we've got the conversation where fewer people are afraid to discuss this. More people are discussing it now.
Well, and it's important to point out that with Florida doing what they're doing and with Tennessee doing what they're doing, that doesn't stop the federal government from doing what they're doing. And it does feel like this is a more military involved than anybody wants to talk about.
Yeah, so sometimes you follow good leads. There's a Doug Magistrano who's run for governor up in Pennsylvania, and he sent a really lengthy letter to Pete Hegseth and asked him to, evaluate and stop this if the military has any part in it. And so we did the same thing. We did a more condensed version of the letter, but I just sent that. He should have it by now. One of the young ladies in the documentary talked about military involvement, and that's unacceptable.
Well, she was in the Air Force.
That's right. Yes,
and she was in the health department and or land health.
She was
an
industrial hygienist.
Yes, thank you. And she said when she started asking questions, she was threatened.
Yes,
she was threatened. It'd be ashamed if I have to put you on a psychiatric hold. Is what the response that she got.
Yeah, isn't that something? What a weak leader. Weak leaders enforce the law. Weak leaders don't try to intimidate their people in that case. And I don't know who that colonel was that she'd told me about. But if you watch the Dane Wigington interview with Tucker Carlson, it's alarming because Dane's been following this type thing for some time. And when you first listen to it, it's a bit of a shock. But when you go follow out the leads that people offer, it's very traceable that something bad is happening in our atmosphere. I think it's money and control based. And I think that those that meet with the globalist elite and the World Economic Forums, I think they have a whole different worldview than we do. I think you have lots of average Tennesseans. I hear it all across the state. They're like, could you please stop this?
Yeah.
Why don't we just enforce the law? I talked to the TDEC leadership about this in committee last year and asked them to enforce the 58-2-116. And the answer was, well, we don't have the money. We have the resources. Well, wait a minute. It's been on the books for 25 years. Even though I voted against the budget this year because it was bloated, aren't we fulfilling the budget that the governor asked for? Doesn't he ask for money to do all the things that are his responsibility to enforce the law? And you just kind of get a blank stare.
How much power does a governor of a state have against this kind of stuff? Because it does feel like with the laws that are being passed, it's more of a conversation starter and giving credibility to the argument than it is any real enforcement mechanism. So if you win the governorship, how much power do you have to influence this kind of stuff?
I think a couple things. I think first, each state has a bully pulpit, if you will, of the governor. And you've got to stand up and be vocal for the rights of the people. Our first responsibility in any elected office is to secure the rights of the people. And sometimes that's just being vocal, not being quiet and timid in what we say. And I think that, I hear Senator Blackburn from time to time, she'll say, well, President Trump is giving power back to the states. I love President Trump, but let's be clear. He doesn't have the authority to give back. The states already have that power. And we've had weak leaders in the states of Tennessee and the other states that have allowed the federal government to take authorities that are not outlined in the Constitution. And we've got to be willing to stand up and say no and nullify those areas of overreach. It's like is it 1,000-foot or 50,000-foot question? Well, you know what? Let's do more like what Florida did. And let's attack this from the supply chain. And when we determine those, and we can determine those chemicals are coming in, then let's go after and prosecute those people. I've talked to the Attorney General about it. The establishment in Nashville, this is not a topic for them. Because the elitists that roam around the city with armed guards while they inhibit or infringe upon our rights, they're just not interested in taking up for the average Tennessean. And I think using that bully pulpit's important. And I think also going to D.C. as the governor of the state and sitting down with President Trump or sitting down with Pete Hegseth and saying, look, something's happening. We demand this stop. I think that's important. we have to understand the relationship that we have as states. The states created the federal government. And we've taken this perspective that there is no 10th Amendment. And I think we reassert that. I think Tennessee needs bold leadership. I think I'm it.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens in the governor's race, and I'm praying for you to keep fighting and do your thing. Do you think that? And is it wrong for me to think, with the geoengineering that we see, the weather modification that's out there, when you see the hurricane in eastern Tennessee, western North Carolina, or you see the flooding in Texas, is that a bad storm running into cloud seeding?
Yeah, I don't know, but I did after Helene. There's a lot of people in Upper East Tennessee that I love. I worked with when I was at Nuclear Fuels. And so we sent a letter. We asked TDEC to do some additional sampling and look for chemicals, and they refused. They stiff-armed it at the governor's office demand. We sent them a letter and asked to look. And again, in concert with what's existing emergency management law, we could have done that and refused to. And I just think that that's completely unacceptable that we allow that to take place and not stand up for the rights of the people. So I do think there's more that we can do. And I think, we had an enforcement mechanism in House Bill 1112 last year. We got it through the House, passed on the floor, right? Increased the fine, possible jail time, and it went after that chemical supply chain. And the governor's office fought this like crazy. And I know that they talked to those 3 senators that voted against it and killed it in the Senate Ag Committee. And they said, we can't enforce this. Well, sure you can. We use supply chain analysis often to prosecute criminality today. And they just refuse to do that. We need fresh leadership.
And that's one of the reasons why you're running. We're talking with Monty Fritz. He is a candidate for governor in Tennessee. You have an uphill battle. I mean, let's be perfectly honest. Marsha Blackburn, the name recognition she has, a lot of people have it pegged as predetermined that she's going to be the next governor of Tennessee. Yeah. What are you doing to stand out in this governor's race?
Several things. One, I'm outworking the other 2 candidates, and I know that I can. I get home at 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I get up at 6 and I go. And I'm relying on face-to-face and opportunities to talk with the people and hear from the people and shake hands. And Senator Blackburn seems to be taking the basement campaign strategy in many cases, just to be honest with you. And I appreciate her service, but, you have to interface with the average person. We have endorsements from all the politicians and the political celebrities. That's not the endorsement I'm looking for. I'm looking for the endorsement of that average person that's trying to make their house payment, and they're looking up in the sky and they're frustrated. They see that their tax dollars are going to fund Muslim schools, and they see that we've been overrun with illegals and that the Nashville establishment has done little. Even though we passed some good legislation, have done little to support that. And Congressman Rose, great guy, but full-time congressman, right? Supposed to be a farmer. He's got 2 little kids. There's no way he can work at the pace I'm working. And I know that. And that's not an insult. That's just the fact. I'm an energetic old guy. And so I'm going to work them in the ground. And we're going to talk about things that people won't talk about. The other candidates seem to avoid talking about your gun rights and what constitutional carry really means. They seem to avoid talking about the fact that our budget has grown by 59%. It scares my leadership in the House here to death. They send somebody to every event I'm speaking at to reinforce that you're going to hear some misinformation that the budget's really good. And Tennessee is in much better shape than most other states. But the fact of the matter is our budget's grown by 59% in 6 years and 80% in 9 years. That's money that we take from your pocket, Chris. And I think the other candidates don't really fully understand this. They've been in D.C. long enough to be polluted by the thought that they're good at spending other people's money. This whole $500 million or $500,000 thing on the Arctic freeze or Arctic frost matter is an example of that. Well, we'll just take more money. Well, that's my money. That's your money. I just don't think they get that.
But don't you feel like there should be some ramifications when a weaponized DOJ is spying on Senate Republicans?
I absolutely think that there should be ramifications and court-martials or trials for those who have spied on any U.S. citizen. I think that those people who voted for this FISA and CISA stuff are now realizing that it was an unconstitutional thing. And many of them got up and bragged about voting for it, both in the House and the Senate. And it's not Fourth Amendment solid, and we shouldn't have done that. And it was one of those cases where we in America allowed an emergency, indeed an emergency, to be something to infringe upon rights and usurp authorities that the Constitution does not give us in government. We did that in COVID here in Tennessee. We declare an emergency, and all of a sudden we can tell you what to do about things like what you put in your body and whether your kids have to wear a mask in school or get shoved in a closet in Knox County because they won't take a mask or a vax. We have to be really careful about that, Chris. I think we're in a precarious place in America. I think for a couple reasons. I think the globalists, those who are influenced by the World Economic Forum, and they meet with them, our governor, are so disappointed Governor Lee met with them. But they start to think like that rather than like us. I'm supposed to think like the average Tennessean in incongruence with the Constitution. I think we're missing that. The other thing I think is a scary precipice is I think the voters are really ticked that we say we're conservative and we're going to stand up for your right to keep and bear arms, your right to work as an essential person, your right to make decisions about your kids, and then we vote counter to that. We vote in these silly school vouchers, and it was absolutely, other than being unconstitutional, it was not popular in most of Tennessee, very not popular. And I'm a little concerned. I don't want the leftist, the open leftist, getting out. But I got to tell you, Chris, the Democrat gets up and they say, well, if you'll just give me more of your money and more and give us more of your liberty for us to control, we'll give you free health care and free salaries and free housing. And then when the Republican gets up and says, if you'll just give me a little bit more money, let me increase your budget by 59% and give up a little bit of your liberty so we can make you feel safe. Well, we'll build you a new ball field in Nashville, or we'll build you a new stadium in Knoxville, or we'll provide some corporate welfare to the companies in New York City that have now elected a communist, and we'll get ECD to help them. That was Governor Lee's words, move down. And the average Tennessean hears that and say, which one hurts me worse?
Right.
And I think it's time to be bold. It's time to take a stand on the Constitution and not waver. Evil will take all the ground you give it. We cannot cede any more ground to evil.
How can we keep up with you and your campaign? Monty Fritz is in studio.
Fritz4, the number 4tn.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you look Monty Fritz up, you'll find I'm on all the platforms. And I look forward to talking with people, and I appreciate your time.
Hey, you're welcome here anytime. Monty Fritz, go watch the documentary Climate Trail. Monty is in it. It does. I'll be honest, and we talked about this off the air. There's a couple parts of the documentary where it kind of goes a little bit too fringe and kind of gets off topic, but it's an important documentary to watch nonetheless.
It is, and I receive no compensation for that. I just for the record, and I signed up just to offer my words. The young people that pulled that together are sincere. They do look at some things differently. I think focusing on that weather modification, the stratospheric aerosol injection, and these crazy people that want to reflect the sunlight, we need to focus on that. We need to stop that in all of these United States. Let's lead the world.
Amen. And I've really appreciated your voice on this topic for a long time. I mean, when I heard that you were even discussing this, I was like, I need to get this guy on the air because we need a lot more people willing to talk about this issue. Monty Fritz is not afraid, and I appreciate that. Monty Fritz, 1024. This is Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, man, thank you. Yes, sir. Is that okay? You did great. Good. I got to do a commercial real quick. Yeah. What? Out. No, you can hang. My wife says thank you.
I would tell her she's welcome. We're trying.
Oh, she wants to know what can we do?
Right, those three senators.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at the Glock store. If you love freedom, you love the Second Amendment, you love a good deal, listen up. This is especially for you. My friends at the Glock store, they're not just doing a Black Friday sale. They're throwing a full-blown freedom party. You can forget the big box store chaos on Black Friday. Where real Americans are going to be shopping, it's at the Glock store. They're going to blow the doors off of every sale you've ever seen. Think massive discounts on everything, up to and including Glocks. There's going to be some giveaways. There's going to be some food trucks. There's going to be some live music. It's shaping up to be a freedom party that you're going to be bragging about being at later. And if you know the Glock store, you know they don't mess around. A couple Saturdays ago, they had their Vortex Day party. This party is going to blow the doors off of that. So skip them all and celebrate your right to bear arms at the one, the only Glock store. Minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere, especially on Black Friday.
The state of Tennessee has ordered a sweeping audit of certain material across certain libraries. And we also mourn the loss of a state representative. We've got those stories and more coming up on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Sam Rutherford in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. Mason Fleming is producing. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. You can watch us, Super Talk TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit share. Shout out to Monty Fritz for coming in. He's running for governor. A lot of people like Monty. Every time he's in here, people like Monty. He's just a genuine guy, and I think that he's not afraid to tell you what he's thinking. He wears it on his sleeve. My wife was really up for that conversation. She's in on the geoengineering, weather modification stuff. We watched the documentary last night together, and she was texting me during the interview, and she said, "Ask him what we can do. What can we do?" And I said, "Good. That's a good question." So I asked him during the break after I got done with the commercials, and I said, "What can we do?" He said, "If you really want this legislation to go through, email Shane Reeves and Janice Bolling. Those are two people that you can contact and say, we support Monty Fritz, we don't support geoengineering and weather modification, and you can really light that fire a little bit more." He said, at the end of the day, then it would have to go to Governor Lee, and he's not sure that Lee would sign that into law, but we can raise a little hell in the meantime. I'm here for that. What do the Democrats call it? Good trouble. Good trouble. 10:30. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning, everyone. It's 10:30, and I'm Sam Rutherford with your headlines. The state of Tennessee has ordered a sweeping audit of children's materials across 181 public libraries in 91 counties. That's nearly the entire regional system, according to News Channel 5. This includes Rutherford County, Smyrna, and Linball public libraries. The audit, issued yesterday by the Tennessee Secretary of State's office, requires reviewing all kids and juvenile books on topics like age appropriateness, puberty, sexual orientation, gender identity, and diversity initiatives. It's tied to a 2024 law and stems from years of public complaints about sensitive content that may contain adult sexual themes. Libraries must submit compliance plans by December 31st, flagging or reclassifying non-compliant items, or risk losing up to $3.1 million in annual state and federal funding for materials, which could hit jobs too. In Rutherford County, Smyrna closed this week for the review, while Linball will shutter November 17th through the 21st for an emergency inventory. Critics decry it as censorship, but sensible supporters see it as protecting kids. Local decisions may rule, but the ACLU is waiting in the wings for challenges. More as it unfolds. Heartwarming news from the White House, according to Newsmax. First Lady Melania Trump launched Fostering the Future yesterday, a bold new initiative to empower foster youth with better education and career paths. In an East Room ceremony, President Trump signed the executive order bringing together federal agencies like Health and Human Services and HUD, nonprofits, schools, and private partners. It builds on her Be Best campaign, creating an online hub for resources, scholarships, and grants, including at Vanderbilt University right here in Tennessee. Melania called it both empathetic and strategic, urging leaders rise above the ease of inaction. The president beamed, saying he's delighted and predicts incredible results. Second Lady Usha Vance joins the efforts too. A brighter tomorrow for thousands of foster kids with one opportunity at a time. And Tennessee State Representative Jeff Burkhart passed away this morning at age 63, according to News Channel 5. Burkhart, a Republican, represented the 75th State District, which covered parts of Montgomery County. A former Clarksville City Council member and firefighter, Burkhart's passing has been heavily felt throughout the Middle Tennessee area. That's the latest news. We've got your weather coming up next. I'm Sam Rutherford, WTN News.
Hey, it's Chris Hand here for my friends at Zero Res Nashville. Listen, you got family coming over for the holidays. I got to tell you something before they get here. And I'm only telling you this because I love you. Your carpets are nasty. They're gross. And nobody in your family is going to tell you that, but I love you enough to give you the honest truth. Clean them up before the family gets here. Call Zero Res. They'll use the Maha of carpet cleaning, exclusive ZR water. No soap, no harsh chemicals, no residue. Your carpets, your upholstery, they're not just going to look insanely clean. They're going to stay clean longer. Then you can have all the family over. You can tell them to leave their shoes on, take your shoes off, go barefoot. Who cares? The carpets look awesome. If you don't have carpets, they do a lot more. Tile, rugs, upholstery, air ducts, the works. This is perfect for the holiday season. Perfect if you're going to have family over. Perfect if you just want clean floors. Any room in your home, $45. Give Zero Res a call today. 615-535-9376. 615-535-9376. Or book online, ZeroResNashville.com. It's 10:37 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners. You get those at betterwater.com. You can listen to us anywhere. iHeart, TuneIn, the FM dial. You can watch us, Super Talk TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Hit like and subscribe. Excited about our next guest. He's an independent running for Congress. His name is John Thorpe. Combat Army vet. Thank you for your service. Air ambulance pilot. He's got a master's in economics, and he's running against Afton Bain and Matt Van Epps. John, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Chris. Appreciate it.
Well, we're excited for the conversation. I think this is going to be a good one. One of the things that you're going to run up against in this race is going to be name recognition. How are you combating that? It's got to be tough. I mean, it's tough to win a race in Tennessee as a Democrat. It's got to be even harder to win the race as an independent.
Mm-hmm.
How are you getting your name out there today?
Well, I actually started running back in March, long before this turned into a special election. So my goal was to do a long, slow grassroots campaign, just get out there, and drudge it out. This has obviously accelerated that, and it takes money. So massive uphill battle. I've been doing the best I can, rely on the donors of literally every single person that helps me out. And I've just been trying to hit all the little events that I can, get as much media attention as I can, which has been quite challenging. The narrative is that independents can't win. They're spoiler votes. So most of the time we're just ignored and just kind of left off the
You're at the kids' table.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a challenge. That's probably the biggest issue, is that people just don't even know. First off, a lot of people don't even know that there is a special election. And then second, they're generally only provided the two major parties, and they don't realize that there's more options. So, and there's actually four independents running.
So how did you come to be an independent? And where do you, it's like autism, right? Independent is a spectrum. Explain to me, are you an independent like Karine Jean-Pierre, or are you an independent, I don't know, like somebody a bit more conservative? Where do you land on the independent? Do you lean more conservative? Do you lean more progressive?
So I actually started this race as a Republican. I was going to run as a Republican, but they told me I was not bona fide, didn't qualify as a private party, so they can make those declarations, and that's fine. They told you, so you wanted to run as a Republican, but they told you that you weren't qualified? In March when I registered with the FEC, I registered as a Republican. But per the state, the party, so the parties themselves have bylaws that state what qualifies as an appropriate and legal candidate. So here in Tennessee, you have to have voted for a Republican in the last four gubernatorial elections, or not, maybe not gubernatorial. That's for ballot access. The last three of the last four that you could have voted for.
So then in the last three of the four elections, at least, you have not voted for a Republican.
I have not voted at all. Yeah. So
why have you not voted?
Well, and this gets back to the heart of the matter of why I am an independent. I actually haven't voted since 2000. That's going to be political suicide for the vast majority of people, and especially a politician. I do not think of myself as a politician. I am a disillusioned voter. I haven't voted because I never felt that there were any candidates presented to me that represented who I was, and I refused to do the whole vote for lesser of two evils thing. I don't think that's a moral way to run anything, a business, let alone a country. And so I just, out of hand, I dismiss the idea that I have to vote one of two. And unfortunately, I also kind of...
So is that's statewide elections and that's national elections
everything,
as well?
Yeah, and everything. And in retrospect, I have discovered that I missed probably the most important part of what I think a voter should do, and it's those local and state elections. I got myself lulled into the idea that the national scene is what makes a difference. That's what matters. And if I didn't have that right candidate that I was looking for, then I may as well not even bother at all. So I regret that for sure. And I would highly encourage people who may have been in my case, because there's a lot of people out there who feel disillusioned and they don't feel like their voice matters. They absolutely matter a whole lot more on the state level and local level. And that's where you can start making a lot of big changes.
So you don't want to vote for the lesser of two evils. But I mean, there's some clear differences between the candidates that we've been getting.
Sure.
So why sit it out? I just you to lean on the moral argument. I feel like that's a bit of a cop out, because if we're going on the moral argument, not voting for a conservative, you could essentially be helping the progressive who wants to murder unborn babies in the womb. So if it's a moral argument, I can understand disagreeing with policy, but morally, the lesser of two evils, there is a clear distinction there, is there not?
No, because you're voting for someone. You're not voting against anyone. And if you're going to...
If you're voting for somebody that's down with abortion up until, in some cases, after birth, versus somebody who's against that's very moral, is it not?
Well, sure, but what holds... Let me put it this way. How many times has a politician made promises on the campaign trail and then didn't follow through with them? Or they'll say they're going to do something, they believe a particular way, and then when they get in the office, they do something completely different. Unheard of, right? No, it happens every single time, because there's a funny and kind of lengthy joke about that, but what people say on the campaign trail is 90% easily, I'm obviously making up that statistic, but the vast majority of what comes out of a politician's mouth on the campaign trail is purely to get him through that door and to cross the finish line. And so if we're going to try to say, well, it's immoral if you don't vote against someone because they might stand for something, you're more, it would be better to say it's immoral to vote for that system that sets it up to the point where you have to be put in that situation. And so that's why I'm running as independent, because there's way more of a spectrum, to use your term earlier, the spectrum of what voters want versus what we're given. We're given this false dichotomy. It's either left or right, and that's it. 47% of Americans right now identify as independent. It's almost more than Democrats and Republicans put together.
But the majority of those independent voters came over and supported President Trump in the last election because they realized to use your phrase, the lesser of two evils was the conservatives at that moment.
Yes. Well, and they weren't necessarily voting against the alternative. In some cases they were, but now look at the split in the party, in the MAGA movement, in the MAHA movement, in all the Republican, there's the rhinos. Almost everybody I've spoken with who are libertarian, independent, slightly leaning conservative, or they're kind of unaffiliated, who did vote for Trump have regretted that and have abandoned him because he has not followed through with basically anything that they voted for in their terms. This is coming from them, not from me. And you can see that on social media, and if you just go out and talk to people, there are a lot of people who are absolutely upset at the Republican Party and have flat out stated that they will never vote for a Republican ever again because of this bait and switch.
Well, but I mean, there's been plenty that we've criticized Trump about on this show, but I think that at the same time, he's accomplished a lot in a very short amount of time. And I think that you could look at somebody like Kamala Harris and be like, there's no way that she could have done that. I mean, even getting the investments from, let's say, like the investments from Muslim countries. You see the tour that he did through the Arab nations. Kamala wouldn't have even been invited over there because she wouldn't have been respected as a female leader. So like when you look at that and you look at what he's doing on the world stage, granted, I want more domestic wins here, and we've made those points on my show. It seems like it's an easy choice who you would vote for. So when you sit that election out, you could really damage the country in those cases, could you not?
Well, no. I mean, at a national election,
you don't think so?
Statistically, your vote is irrelevant. On local, so sitting it out really doesn't make a huge difference. If again the goal is to promote the ideas that some of them that Trump was standing for during the campaign process, I think a better alternative would be to allow a system that more properly aligns voters' desires with the outcome. So I would say things like ranked choice voting. When the country was first started, you would not elect a paired. It wasn't a president and a vice president put together, you would vote the person that got the most votes got the
So
presidency.
you're in favor of ranked choice voting?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Because that will. How else the system that we have now, by having a winner take all, and that's what that furthers the idea of you have to vote for a lesser two evils. You can't. People are afraid. They've been cowed into not voting for what they want because they're too afraid of accidentally voting somebody else in. If you don't vote against someone, you're going to vote them in. You're the spoiler vote. And so ranked choice voting will compensate for that. So you put your number one as who you truly want, and then you can put your number two as I don't want so-and-so to win because, God forbid, we have a little bit of difference of opinion here.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. Moving off the national stuff, what differences do you have with a candidate like Afton Bain?
Well, I think she has a number of proposals how she would solve issues as opposed to what I would do is going to be different. Her approach is more of a top-down, try to approach it with stronger government policies and infrastructure, bureaucracy. Whereas I think if you can minimize the introduction and control, then the free market typically will solve things a lot better.
Where are you on mass deportations?
I think we tell everybody that we're a nation of laws, and I think if we have laws on the books, then we need to enforce them. If you're here illegally, you should be deported. I think the way that it's been done in many cases, not every case, but in many cases, they've gotten a little overzealous. It's the proverbial the militarization of police forces, and if your only tool is a hammer, everything begins looking like a nail type of thing.
I mean, but you could also point to the Democrat governors in those states that are not allowing them inside the jails, so they have to do the operations on the streets.
Sure. Yeah. I'm not pointing any fingers at any particular person. I think there's. Again, if we're a nation of law, Lady Liberty is blindfolded and has the scales to judge everybody equally and blindly, and I don't think that takes place by either party.
So we have a thing called the super text line, and a lot of comments coming in right now are saying that you are actually a Democrat masquerading as an independent. Your thoughts? Well,
last time I voted was for Bush back in 2000. My dad was an over-the-road trucker, so I listened to, Rush Limbaugh and all those guys growing up. Glenn Beck. I am much more leaning on the conservative side than I would be on the liberal.
Do you find yourself more in agreement with a guy like Matt Van Epps than Afton Bain?
I don't know what Matt stands for. He seems like a blank slate to me. I don't know.
In what sense?
Have
you just not been following him, or
other than the scripted events when he's in? He talks in platitudes, I guess. So the last one I watched was the News Channel 5 interview, and he basically just spat out the talking points of I'm going to support the Republican Party. I'm going to I'm furthering Trump's plan. He was asked directly, well, what if Trump does something or proposes something that is going to be bad for the people of Tennessee? What are you going to do? And he just sort of stammered a little bit and says, I'm going to be supporting Trump. So he's that's why. I mean, but that's why I'm running as an independent.
That's also dealing with hypotheticals.
Sure,
but the majority.
But the point is, running, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but running as an independent, the whole point is that if Afton Bain gets elected, she's going to be the most junior person in the House, and she will have to answer to the party leadership. If Matt gets elected, he will be the most junior representative, and he will have to answer to the party leadership. If I got elected, I would only answer to the people. There is no leadership.
One of my issues would be is as of right now, we have such a slim majority in the House. Why do I want you going in there throwing in a monkey wrench when I could have a conservative that's going to go with the party and do what the overwhelming majority of the Republican Party would want? What case do you have for me as a Republican to vote for you? Where do you stand out from the noise? What are you going to push back on? Because I don't. There's nothing that's selling me on an independent, and I don't know. I'm at a loss. I mean,
sure. So I will not appeal to people who want nothing but Republicans or Democrats. Period. That's not who I'm trying to go for. I'm trying to appeal to the people who stand on principle, who have an ideology, who thinks that a bill should be discussed based on the merits of that bill and of the issue itself, not on which party the person that proposed it is.
So if we were doing like a guy will come out of college and they'll be like, okay, here's a pro comparison.
Mm-hmm.
If we were to do a pro comparison for you and kind of like who would be your guiding light in Congress, which member of Congress today do you think that you're most closely aligned with?
Thomas Massie.
Thomas Massie.
And so, and his experiences are directly related to why I ultimately joined. Back in March again, that's when I threw my hat in the ring. That was when they were talking about the continuing resolution back then. That was literally Biden's spending plan. You would expect, because it was Biden's plan, all the Republicans should vote against it and all the Democrats vote for it. But because Trump wanted it passed, you saw almost the exact opposite. The only Republican to vote against it was Thomas Massie, and they, for having the audacity to stand on principle, they threatened him with primary. That shows the people that
Thomas Massie votes against everything.
No, he doesn't. He
votes against
Prime
everything,
Act.
and
he's wanting to vote for the Prime Act to give the people power to use.
He wasn't this monkey wrench during the Biden administration.
Sure, he was. He has been.
He wasn't.
You look at his voting record, and he has been consistent. He is very, very, very consistent. And that's the problem, is consistency, because he's standing on principle. He's standing on ideology and the issues themselves, not who presents the bill itself, not who is behind whatever narrative that we want. And that's what this continuing resolution, it's about conformity. If you toe the line, and if you are doing what you're told, you're going to get promoted. And if not, you're going to get thrown to the wolves. And that's both parties. That's not just Republicans. That's everybody. And that's what needs to change, because who gets lost in that is the American people. Because when there is a good bill, let's say it's being put forth by the Democrats, and you're a Republican, you cannot vote for it and say it's a good bill, because then you're going to be saying, oh, I'm helping out the Democrats, and people are going to call you a rhino and whatnot, even though it might be the best bill in the world.
I don't know. I don't think it's a heck of a sales pitch to say that you'd just be another Thomas Massie. I think
67% of Americans think that politics are too divisive to solve any major issue.
You're running in Tennessee, though.
67%. That's across America. Tennessee is part of America. They agree to every.
You're correct. Tennessee is part of America.
Well, what I'm saying is,
we are a far different place than a California or New York or a Massachusetts.
Look at Trump's tariffs. He's touting all this money that he's raising. This is a direct tax on Americans. We're paying higher, and it's hurting farmers. And the farmers here are hating it.
What are we paying higher because of the tariffs right now?
Anything that is hit by a tariff has to be paid.
What specifically has gone up in price because of the tariffs?
Well, you take your pick. Whatever's been.
I mean, I'm asking for an example.
And it's not necessarily going up in price. In some cases, it's going down in price. Take the soybean issue. They had the entire crop pretty much got destroyed, or is going to be destroyed, because there's no market for it anymore, because there was a tariff on it. China and it's been growing, but that was kind of the final nail. That
Do you know that we've actually sold more soybeans to China in this same time period than we did last year? The same time period with Joe
completely.
Biden.
Now, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's been up and down.
But do you
and
understand?
Part of the problem,
but he's negotiating.
That's not a negotiation. And who ends up
using
footing the bill
as the negotiation?
No, he's using our farmers as a negotiation tactic.
Okay,
they're already narrowly in there. You go back, and this is decades. This isn't a Trump thing. This is going back decades.
But who do you think is going to serve the farmers better? And I think that there's an argument to be had that he could do more for farmers. But do you think a Democrat's going to get in there and do better?
Depends on what the issue is. That's the whole point. That's the crux of the matter is, I don't think it should matter what party is pushing for a particular bill or issue or solution. It should be only the merits of the solution itself, not who's putting it forward. Not if they're a Democrat, not if they're a Republican, not if they're a Libertarian or a Green or a whatever. If the solution makes sense, we should support it, period.
Well, I can agree with that.
And we can't do that because we're so stuck on party ideology, party politics, that we can't even agree on what the problems are, let alone get to the point of offering a solution for them.
Maybe. John Thorpe, he's running for Congress. How can we keep up with you?
Well, I'm all over the social medias. ThorpeForCongress.com is the website. I'm on TikTok and X and Instagram, all those things. So any of those would be great. Reach out. Very responsive.
Cool, man. Thanks for coming by. I appreciate the time. 10:58, Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It is 1 minute past 11 a.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. We'll get you a very nice looking weather forecast here in a moment. Well, federal workers back on the job today, and many will be receiving back pay now that the government shutdown's over. Here's ABC's Rachel Scott.
We know some impacts of this shutdown are going to linger for just a little while longer, but we've been talking about these federal workers, right? So many of them furloughed during this shutdown. They are going to start to receive back pay over the course of the next few days.
Now, it's looking like the 43-day shutdown did no favors for the job market. ABC's Jim Ryan says that's the finding, at least, of the latest ADP research survey.
Payroll processor ADP says that for the 4 weeks ending October 25th, private employers shed an average 11,000 jobs per week. Not only is the pace of hiring slowing, it's cutting across industries and geographic locations. The ADP survey finds that nearly 2/3 of U.S. workers are living paycheck to paycheck.
Blue Origin, the space company created by Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, has pulled off a first after it launched 2 orbiters toward Mars yesterday aboard its New Glenn rocket. It successfully landed the booster back on Earth. The aim, like SpaceX, is to reuse the rockets. We hear now from ABC's Sophie Flay.
The launch not only marking a turning point for Blue Origin, but also a critical step in NASA's plan to send people to Mars. The New Glenn rocket is carrying twin NASA spacecraft called Escapade. The 2 identical probes are headed to Mars to study the atmosphere.
Back here in Middle Tennessee, a Tennessee lawmaker reportedly passed away overnight at his home in Montgomery County. Tennessee Representative Jeff Burkhart was found dead at home early this morning. That's according to the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office. He was only 63 years of age. The Sheriff's Office reported the call came in about 7 o'clock this morning. Burkhart was a former Clarksville firefighter who rose to the rank of assistant fire chief before joining public service back in 2008 as a member of the Clarksville City Council. He was elected to represent District 75 in Montgomery County back in 2022, and he held that post until his death early this morning. That's the latest news. Weather's on the way. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
It's 11:07 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners. You get those at betterwater.com. We got Jay Harper in the newsroom. We got Mason Fleming producing. And you can watch the whole show. Super Talk TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit share. What'd you guys think about John Thorpe?
It was an interesting conversation.
It was interesting. I'll tell you this. He was a nice guy.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Very respectful. He's a veteran. Thank him for his service.
Absolutely.
Appreciate that. I think that's kind of, I don't know. I didn't agree with much else.
Yeah, I don't know. Especially I won't get into it.
I don't want to be rude.
No.
I don't want to be rude. I'll tell you what I thought, though. He's got an interview with Murphy next week. Right? It's next week.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah.
I would just come down with the flu if I was him. It's just, I'm not gonna be the mean guy. I'm not gonna be the rude guy. I'm not saying Matt's mean and rude.
No, but he's a little more aggressive than
yes, he's a little bit more aggressive.
Because you did some pushback, but not as much as Matt, I think, will end up doing.
I don't know if John's ready for that. I think Murphy might leave the studio that day with a little bit of John stuck between his teeth.
Yeah.
It's the interview he asked for.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, you got to give the guy credit for not hiding away. I mean, he's putting himself out there.
He's doing that.
Yeah.
He's trying. He's trying.
I thought he was going to tell me Massey when I asked him the pro comp question. I thought that was a good question, right?
I did too.
Like, hey, you're brand new. Like, okay, who would if we're scouting you out, which pro would you compare yourself to in the league? Thomas Massey. I said, we already have one. I don't know if we need another one. But listen, John, if you are listening, thanks for coming in, man. And
yeah, I really appreciate the conversation.
Best of luck, dude. We'll be praying for you. Best of luck with Murphy on. I think it's Monday. I think it's Monday that Murphy's going to have him on.
Rockin' Monday. Good way to wake yourself up.
Ooh. I might text Matt and just say, be nice.
No. It's all or nothing with Murphy. I don't want any restraint on that.
Oh my gosh.
All the other candidates
Listen, I'm here for it. I can't wait for that. I'm going to listen.
I think it's going to be good.
He'll be nicer than he was to Heidi Campbell.
No, I hope so.
I'm sure of it. All right, so the administration clearly recognizes that they have a messaging issue. Cue the J.D. Vance interview with Sean Hannity. I'm not knocking this. I think this is actually probably the right thing to do. The president put his foot in his mouth during the Laura Ingraham interview. You could be mad at me for acknowledging that, but it is the reality. Still love the guy. J.D. Vance doesn't seem to have that issue. Vance seems to always be able to clearly, calmly attack an issue, attack a problem, and talk about what we're doing to fix it without saying things like Americans have no talent. J.D. Vance understands that the conversation with Gen Z and millennials is really focused around affordability right now. And we all understand why things have gotten so expensive. It's a result of the policies of the Democrats and the 30 million plus illegal aliens that they've allowed into this country. That's why your home prices have gone up. That's why the rent has gone up. That's why healthcare prices have gone up. We can go down the line. They're a drain on our resources. Everybody knows it. Local Dallas TV station the other day, WFAA, they said they put out this post, and it was supposed to be like, to gain a bit of emotional support for the migrants, the newcomers, if you will. It said, WFAA put this on Instagram. It said, at least 44,000 school-aged children in North Texas may be at risk of deportation, according to a report. To which I would say, American school children are being slowed down, having the resources for them drained by 44,000 illegal alien children. And this is not a drop in the bucket. This is happening everywhere. This is happening in Tennessee schools. I'm just using Dallas as an example because this stupid news station decided that this was going to be the route that they were going to go to emotionally manipulate you. 44,000 illegal alien kids in Dallas. It's about $13K a year to educate a kid. I think we're around the same here in Tennessee. So 44,000 kids, game that out. That's almost $574 million a year going to illegal alien kids. What could Dallas do with an extra $574 million a year? I'm sure that the problems in Dallas are the problems like many other cities. Potholes, housing crisis. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Infrastructure, hospitals. What could you do with that kind of resources? Instead, we're educating the children of illegal aliens. We're slowing down the classrooms. In New York City, this was during the election season, they were bragging about, we have several hundred languages being spoken in our schools by our kids. And I made the comment, okay, but how many languages do the teachers speak? Because when you get a kid that's slowing down the classroom, that needs to have things translated to him, that has English as a second language, it's slowing down everybody else. The kids are taking the hit. American kids. American kids. Not a race thing. White American kids, black American kids, Spanish American kids, Chinese American kids. I mean, it's not a race thing. Americans are being hurt by this stuff on many different levels. That's why mass deportations need to increase. Why we need to end the programs like H1B visas. We just need to stop this stuff. Chip Roy said, let's halt immigration for a year. I think that's a good start. I'd stretch it. I think we freeze all immigration for 5 years and see what happens. Let's get ourselves back on solid ground. I think the overwhelming majority of Americans understand what we're dealing with and would be open to something like that. J.D. Vance understands the issues. J.D. Vance understands that Gen Z and millennials are going, what the hell is happening right now? And so he went on and he did this interview with Hannity and he attacked the affordability crisis. He talked about housing affordability, and he did. He pointed the finger where it needs to be pointed, at the Democrats and at the illegal immigration that's happened in this country.
I know that there are a lot of people out there, Sean, who are saying things are expensive. And we have to remember they're expensive because we inherited this terrible inflation crisis from the Biden administration. But you've already seen signs that things are getting better. The price of eggs has gone way down. The price of energy has gone way down. The price of gasoline has gone way down. And as we know, when the price of energy goes down, that starts to filter out into the entire economy. But that also takes a little bit of time. There's another component of this, Sean, which to me is maybe the most important because I care so much about our young people being able to afford a good life. A lot of young people are saying housing is way too expensive.
It is.
Why is that? Because we flooded the country with 30 million illegal immigrants who were taking houses that ought by right go to American citizens. And at the same time, we weren't building enough new houses to begin with, even for the population that we had. So what we're doing is trying to make it easier to build houses, trying to make it easier to build factories and things like that so that people have good jobs. We're also getting all of those illegal aliens out of our country, and you're already seeing it start to pay some dividends.
The messaging is clear. Highlight the wins, acknowledge the issues, don't gaslight the American public and tell them everything's fine. Then say what you've isolated as the cause of the issue and highlight what you're doing to fix it. The messaging from Vance is on point. He's not gaslighting. He's not saying everything's great, but he's saying that we're working towards it. And he continued down this road during this interview with Hannity, and he was talking about houses, and he said, the quickest way to fix it is building more homes. And J.D. Vance says we need to build about 5 million more homes in this country.
Yeah, so a few things about that, Sean. First, we probably need to build about 5 million new homes. And if you look in the red states, we're actually doing a very good job. One of the biggest challenges that we have in the housing market, aside from too many illegal aliens who are taking the houses of American citizens, is that in the blue states, you're not building enough houses. So you go to California. Why are so many people moving out of California? It's, yes.
I have a guess. There's no water. No, your friend Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, my friend Gavin Newsom.
And maybe if they put water and fire hydrants and reservoirs, that might help, right?
Yeah, but they're not building houses. You look at those terrible fires that happen in Los Angeles. You have people who are still trying to get the permitting to rebuild their houses. This happened so long ago. So
It's insane. And Trump called that out when it happened. Trump tried to streamline that process. That's a California issue.
We've got to get our blue states to build enough houses for their citizens because our red states and the federal government is actually doing a really good job. By the way, you know one of the biggest cities where you're seeing housing costs come down? Austin, Texas, because they're choosing smart policies and they're building enough housing. Now, on the AI issue.
This is what we need. Yes, housing affordability is an issue. We're going to get more homes built. Acknowledging the issues, not running away from them, not gaslighting the American public. We can't lie to people. This is one of the things that irritated me during the Biden administration. We're grown-ups. Explain to us what's wrong. Just tell me the brutal truth. Tell me that things might get a little worse before they get better. I can deal with that. Tell me you have a plan. Tell me you have a plan. And J.D. Vance did his best to lay out the plans of the administration and what they're going to do over the next 3 years and 3 months.
Biden administration, a good year for the Biden administration was a few $100 billion of investments. The president is getting trillions upon trillions of new investments. Now, of course, I'm mindful that people were suffering, Sean, because those factories don't get built overnight. These things actually take a little bit of time. It's
true.
But here's what's different from the Trump administration, the Biden administration. The president is focused now on getting people good jobs, getting people higher wages, and bringing down the cost of goods. We inherited a disaster. We've chipped away at a lot of that problem in 10 months. But that's why you've got 4-year terms, because we're going to do a lot over the next 3 years, 3 months to make sure that more people can afford a good life. They can afford to buy homes. Young people can afford to start families. And we've actually got good jobs that put people on a career trajectory to stability. The biggest problem with the Biden economy wasn't even the affordability. That was the second biggest problem. The biggest problem with the Biden economy is that people had the kind of jobs where they couldn't build a career out of it.
Yep.
They'd make $14, $15 an hour with no promise of ever being able to make more. That is not how you build a middle-class American dream. That's how you build debt service. And that's what the American people are becoming under Joe Biden. It's so important that we stay the course, keep these economic policies going so that Americans can own a stake in their own future, build the kind of life that every American deserves.
He's so smooth with this stuff. He's one of the best guys at expressing his ideas, not diminishing your fears or concerns, and trying to make it so that way it's easy to understand where they're going next. There's no reason why this guy isn't going to be the front runner for the conservative movement unless something catastrophic happens. And it has to be catastrophic. Hannity asked him about 2028, by the way. He did. J.D. Vance said, can we focus on midterms? I'm going to sit down with the president and talk to him about it, but let's win midterms first.
Coming fast.
Sure.
Thinking about it all?
I would say that I've thought about what that moment might look like after the midterm elections, sure. But I also, whenever I think about that, I try to put it out of my head and remind myself the American people elected me to do a job right now, and my job is to do it. And if you start getting distracted and focused on what comes next, I think it actually makes you worse at the job that you have. And here's what will happen. I mean, look, we're very focused on the midterm elections. I think because what the president has set in motion is a long-term economic revitalization effort for this country, I really want us to win the midterms, because if the Democrats get in power, they're going to try to screw up a lot of the great things the president of the United States has done over the past 10 months. Again, trees that have been planted, some of which won't even bear fruit for a few years. I don't want the Democrats to screw that up. So we're going to win the midterms. We're going to do everything that we can to win the midterms. And then after that, I'm going to sit down with the president of the United States and talk to him about it. But let's focus on the now, because we've got well over a year to do as much as we can for the American people. And my attitude, Sean, is look, if we do a good job, the politics will take care of itself. If we do a terrible job, the politics will take care of itself in the other direction. So I'm just going to focus on the job that I have.
Hey, he's not wrong. If you do a good job, it will take care of itself. 11:22, this is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friend Dan over at Cabinet Makeovers. Let this be the last year that you host the holidays in that old kitchen. Come holiday season 2026, you should have a brand new kitchen installed by Cabinet Makeovers. They've actually installed some pull-out cabinets and a pull-out pantry in my home, and we love it. My wife loves it. I love it. We're not digging in the back of the pantry, in the back of the cabinets for pots and pans anymore. The kids aren't digging in the back of the pantry for snacks. Everything is so easy to get to, so smooth. They're awesome. I didn't know I'd love them as much as I did. If you need to make an investment in your kitchen, do it with a family-owned company that's been doing this work for over 45 years. Everything they do is Tennessee-made. Every cabinet that they installed in my home, every pull-out, every drawer, all wood construction, full extension, soft close glides, they're amazing. And you're going to love them too. Maybe you're like, I just did the kitchen. Well, they do cabinets for every home in your house. They'll also do custom closets, pantries, the works, all built with the same Tennessee pride and biblical values that guide their business. If you need to make the investment in your home, call Dan over at Cabinet Makeovers. You can't go wrong with Dan at Cabinet Makeovers. 615-331-7010. 615-331-7010. See pictures of their work online right now, cabinetmakeoverstn.com.
The government may be open, but air traffic is still suffering. Also, an arrest in the shocking murder of a popular California football coach. And back here in Middle Tennessee, a lawmaker suddenly passing away. We'll have that and more coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I just saw Matt Murphy in the hallway. I said, you got to be nice to John next week.
What'd he say?
He said he's not going to be nice.
You should.
It's 11:26. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name's Chris Hand. Mason Fleming's producing. Jay Harper's in the newsroom. We got a lot to get to. Remember that guy that was sleeping with Chinese spies and farting on TV?
Oh, yeah.
You remember him? Eric Swalwell? Eric? Did you hear what's going on with him? He's being investigated. Criminally referred to the Department of Justice by one Bill Pulte of 50-year mortgage fame. He is being criminally referred on accusations of, you guessed it, mortgage fraud.
Fox can now confirm that California Democrat Congressman Eric Swalwell has been criminally referred to the Department of Justice accused of mortgage fraud. Senior White House correspondent Peter Ducey reporting live on this breaking news on Eric Swalwell from the North Lawn. Hey, Peter.
Martha, as I was walking up here to do a hit on a different topic, I got a call from an administration official filling us in that Eric Swalwell, the Democratic California congressman, has indeed been referred to the Justice Department by Bill Pulte, who is the head of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac right now, because he is accused of making false or misleading statements on a mortgage application. We believe that this pertains to a $1.2 million house that Swalwell has in the Washington, D.C. area. Swalwell has already responded. Part of his very long statement says, as the most vocal critic of Donald Trump over the last decade and as the only person who still has a surviving lawsuit against him, the only thing I am surprised about is that it took him this long to come after me.
What a victim. What a victim. Eric Swalwell. He's good at a couple things. Sleeping with Chinese spies, lying on mortgage applications, and apparently he's all out of Chinese spies. He did comment on this on MSNBC.
This is really about Donald Trump going after his political enemies, and no one has been a more vocal critic than me. But this is why being in the majority also matters, because these guys think that they can do this because they're invincible and there are no consequences. And a year from now, we are going to win the majority. And that's what we learned last Tuesday when California voters stood up against Donald Trump. And when we're in the majority, we will have subpoena power and accountability will happen. So Bill Pulte and any other lawless official who is carrying out these political prosecutions on behalf of Donald Trump, they should familiarize themselves with the Judiciary Committee room, because they're going to be spending a lot of time there answering questions. And I sure hope everything they did was above board.
Donald Trump is going after his political enemies. He better hope we don't regain power or we're going to go after our political enemies. Is that the argument? Listen, this is something to highlight, though. He's not the only Democrat that feels this way, that they're going to go after the Trump administration should they regain power in the midterms. We have to keep our eye to the midterms, knowing that if the Democrats win, we're dealing with more impeachments. We're dealing with all of that. More investigations. We can't let that happen. By any means necessary, we can't let that happen. 11:30, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It's 11:30. I'm Jay Harper with your top story. We've got, good-looking forecast coming up, so stand by. It's on the way. The government is reopened, but air traffic, well, it may need a few days to get back to normal. ABC's Alex Perez, he's at O'Hare in Chicago, where the cancellations have been a little better today.
Things are much smoother now than they were earlier this week. Now, since last Friday, about 11,000 flights have been canceled, creating moments of chaos at airports this week. The problem due primarily to air traffic control staffing issues triggered by the government shutdown, which is now over.
Moving out west now, an arrest has been made in the shooting of a popular college football coach and athletic director in Oakland, California. ABC's Alex Stone has more.
Oakland police say they have made an arrest in the shooting of Laney College athletic director John Beam. Sources telling ABC's KGO-TV the suspect was taken into custody early this morning and had a gun in their possession when they were arrested. Beam remains critically injured after being shot by somebody on the campus on Thursday. Police say it was not an active shooter. It appeared targeted. Beam is widely known in the Bay Area and was the focus of a Netflix documentary for running a program that has repeatedly sent players to the NFL.
A Tennessee lawmaker reportedly passed away overnight at his home in Montgomery County. Tennessee Representative Jeff Burkhart was found dead at his home early this morning. That's according to the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office. He was only 63. The Sheriff's Office reported the call came in at about 7 o'clock this morning. Burkhart was a former Clarksville firefighter. He rose to the rank of assistant chief before he joined public service back in 2008 as a member of the Clarksville City Council. He was elected to represent District 75 in Montgomery County in 2022. He held that post until his untimely death this morning. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
It's 11:37 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. Show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can listen to us anywhere, iHeart, TuneIn, FM Dial. Watch us, Super Talk TV, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe, share the show with your friends. Me and Dan got a new podcast dropping tomorrow morning, Mostly Peaceful. Will be on all of your listening platforms as well as YouTube. A couple times I made Dan uncomfortable, I think.
A few times?
A couple times.
I don't think I've ever seen Dan cringe quite that hard, but
I don't even remember what I said, but it was worth it.
It was fun.
It was worth it. We talked about a lot of stuff. That podcast is dropping tomorrow. Be sure to put your notifications on the YouTube page. That way you can see the video in all its glory.
Yeah, it'll be premiering tomorrow at 6:15 a.m.
Let's go.
You can watch it all day, of course.
Absolutely. Who wouldn't?
Oh, for sure.
I watch it. I usually count like 10 to 15 of those views for me.
That's all me.
That's me. But I'm just kidding.
Along with the other 500.
I don't know. I can't rewatch my stuff. It's weird. It's awkward.
It's a vanity thing.
It's pretty weird. Like there I am on the TV.
Oh, that's
yeah. I just turn it off. But similar to the audience. But what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. I thought next week was going to be Thanksgiving. I've been thinking that for pretty much half of this week.
Bro, it's been throwing me off so much.
Who do we need to talk to get Thanksgiving changed to the third week in November? That's where it should be.
I still think it should be Jesus.
Send him an email.
Send him
an email. All right. We got something to do here. I keep forgetting what it is. Do you know what it is?
It's 11:30.
So that would be Thunderdome. Lightning round. Lightning round.
It's the Lightning Round with Chris Hand.
Every day this time, it's the lightning round. We do all the stories we didn't have a chance to get to, all the stories that couldn't fill up a whole segment, just a bunch of random stuff. We call it the lightning round. That's why you hear the lightning in the background. People still will come up to me in the streets and they'll say, Chris, the sound you're hearing is thunder, and I say blasphemy. That's lightning.
They hear the thunder, they come for the lightning.
What we do. Mandis said that he was going to try and steal this segment, and he was going to call it the Thunder Round. That's what he told me. That's what he told me.
I don't think you can make it stand.
I think you should try.
I think you can go.
I think you should try.
You should try, but if he gets flamed as much as he did during the crisscross handoff earlier today, I don't think it'll stand.
Yep. All right, well, it's up to him.
Yeah.
First story in the lightning round. Speaking of trying things, Jasmine Crockett's thinking about trying something.
Oh.
She wants to try something new. She's debating running for Senate.
While you're here, I also want to ask you about some of the other political stories that have been unfolding on the Hill. Obviously, the longest government shutdown in history recently.
Before we go any further, do you know where I'm going with this?
I have an inkling.
So on the YouTube stream, you see the video. But some of the radio listeners get mad at us because they don't see the video. So how would you, Mason, describe the hair that Jasmine Crockett is wearing? And is that her natural hair?
First response to your second question, no.
Okay.
I don't think so.
It's given off Black Rapunzel vibes. Am I wrong?
Yeah. It looks like she just saw the movie Twister and wanted to reenact it.
It's terrible. It's like, I don't know what it is. It's like she's got like a big like knot on the top kind of thing. Like that extends up like 8 inches.
Yeah, it's the swept back and up look.
But it's like poofy and braided.
Yeah.
And then that extends all the way back down to a ponytail that's like, it's going down to like her waist. Have you ever seen the wrestler, the female wrestler, Bianca Belair?
No.
You've never seen Bianca Belair?
I have not. Chris, we've talked about my wrestling knowledge.
Okay. Well, let me show you this thing, okay? Bianca Belair has like a crazy ponytail too.
Yeah.
And I wonder if she's trying to channel her inner
influence.
she's doing the Bianca Belair. It's the best way I can describe it. Although I will say that Jasmine has more of a poof on the top than Bianca.
Yeah. Bianca's is emphasized with flowers and intimidation. Jasmine Crockett is
emphasized with failure. Terrible policies.
And accusations.
Accusations. All right, so sorry. I didn't mean to get distracted
too much there
by the hair. By the her.
It's impressive, whatever you want to call it.
I couldn't do that.
I definitely couldn't.
I couldn't pull it off.
No.
Kudos to her. It works. It works if you work it. All right, keep going.
Ended. There has been a lot of criticism of the Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer from fellow members of yours in the House of Representatives from the progressive base. Chuck Schumer has defended himself in part by saying over the months that he knows how to win elections. Do you think that Chuck Schumer still knows how to win elections?
No, I know nothing about his strategies on winning elections. That is for sure.
You're thinking
What about his strategy on cooking cheeseburgers?
about running for Senate yourself.
I am absolutely thinking about running for Senate, and I'm hoping to have an answer within my inner circle probably within the next week and a half or so. But I will tell you this. I will tell you that I completely understand those that are disappointed. I will tell you that on November 4th, we won in places that we weren't supposed to win in, whether we're looking at Georgia or whether we're looking at Mississippi or whether we're looking at different parts of Virginia, where now we're going to end up having a supermajority in the House or in the Commonwealth in the House. I will tell you this. I will tell you that ultimately the decision about who is best to lead the Senate comes from the Senate. It's only the senators that get to make that decision. They are the ones with information that we don't have. I don't know if there's someone that can fundraise stronger than Chuck Schumer. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know what all Chuck does when it comes to making sure that we have the best chances with the Senate map that we're given in any given election cycle. And I trust our senators in the Senate to decide on who is best to lead them.
I'll be honest, this sounds...
So she's debating running for Senate. I looked back at the recent Texas Senate races, and I do say I would take the bet on Polymarket that she's going to lose. I think she would get stomped, absolutely stomped, against any conservative in the state of Texas. I understand John Cornyn isn't as popular as some may lead you to believe, but I guarantee you he's a hell of a lot more popular in Texas than Jasmine Crockett.
Yeah, him on his worst day is better than her on her best.
Best of luck to you. Best of luck. I don't know. I'm still distracted by the hair.
Yeah, I was going to say hats off, but...
Oh, hats on. Hats on, please. All right, I got another story for you in the lightning round. This is kind of like a mix and mash of a few stories in one, okay? And it goes back to everybody is afraid of being sued by President Trump. Everyone is. So let's start with the BBC. We've seen all the people stepping down. Trump still may sue on them editing that footage. But we're seeing a lot of walking it back, if you will, from a lot of different networks. Enter CNN. They want to make sure that you know that they're not accusing President Trump of doing anything wrong when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein.
That mentioned the president. And we do want to be clear, the president, Trump, did not receive or send any of the messages, which largely predated his time as president. He's not been accused of any criminal wrongdoing in connection with Epstein or Maxwell. The White House...
So he's not accused of anything. He didn't send any emails. He didn't do anything. By the way, wall-to-wall coverage on the Epstein-Trump hoax. Got it. Epstein's not a hoax. The victims are not a hoax. The media attention to it is the hoax. And that needs to be explained over and over and over again until people get it. If anybody had anything on Trump, they would have used it. Make no mistake about it. There would have been a selective leak, and it would have been used. Enter MSNBC. Jen Psaki, also doubling down and making sure that she doesn't get sued when she says something outlandish about Donald J. Trump.
In supporting what Donald Trump is doing. You're talking about the other predators out there, in addition to Trump. I mean, I'm not saying he is. We don't know all the details about that. I just mean in addition to what we've learned about Epstein and others.
Do you hear the moment where she panicked? She said, in addition to Trump, that's my best Jen Psaki impersonation. Did I nail it? In addition to Trump.
To Trump. I mean, I'm not saying he is.
That's pretty accurate.
I'm not saying he is.
Hold on. One more time.
Trump. I mean, I'm not saying he is.
It's okay. Calm down.
Someone snuck up behind her and just shook the chair while she was trying to recover.
Somebody that didn't issue a retraction yet that I've seen, but definitely wants to get sued. Who runs the Twitter account, the Democrats?
Who knows anymore? Nobody knows who's in charge of that party. Who knows who's in charge of a Twitter page?
Smells like they want to get sued for defamation. So they posted a tweet yesterday. New documents show Donald Trump spent Thanksgiving with Jeffrey Epstein in 2017. At the time, Trump was already president, and Epstein was already a convicted sex offender. Do you know what they did? They deleted the tweet. You want to know why they deleted the tweet?
Why?
They were pushing fake news. Because, actually, fun fact, Trump spent Thanksgiving Day serving meals to active duty armed forces in 2017.
Yeah.
And it's all on video and camera, and they tracked his every move that day.
Yeah, it was kind of a big deal.
Nobody saw him with. Actually, is that nope? Not Epstein next to him serving meals.
Nope, those look like soldiers to me.
Looks like soldiers. So while everybody's trying not to get sued, the Democrats' Twitter account. I don't even know if it's officially run by the Democrats, but they do want to get sued.
They're doubling down.
All right, got another story here in the lightning round. Sorry, I wanted to let the.
Really let that one roll.
I wanted to let it roll a little bit. Reverse migration. We've heard a lot about Democrats coming to states like Tennessee and ruining them, but we haven't heard the opposite happening. And instead of discouraging conservatives from moving to Tennessee, I think we need to take the route of encouraging liberals to leave.
I'm okay with that.
We're incentivizing conservatives to move here from California or New York. We saw Bill Lee do that. How about we incentivize the liberals to leave? You know, like, we'll give you a $5,000 stipend to move to any progressive majority blue state you would like to move to. One woman in South Carolina did just that, and let me be the first to tell you, stunning and brave.
We are thinking about moving our whole entire family from Greenville, South Carolina to the West Coast, somewhere like Seattle or Portland or somewhere like that.
Great choice. When I would think of like a great place to live, I like open air drug use. I like poop on the streets. Huge fan of it being overrun by Antifa. These are the kind of things that make your property values go up. Tent cities are great. Everybody loves tent cities. Who wouldn't want to leave South Carolina to go to Portland or Seattle?
Like that's a little bit more like progressive. I have lived in this area my whole entire life, which is 44 years, and I am done with it. I need to see something else. I have moved, Jason and I together have moved a lot of times.
It's your life
10
partner.
or 12, whatever years we've been together, we've moved probably 4 times. But it's all been right inside the area. And it just got real today because I texted my realtor, which usually the second I text my realtor, the deal's done, we gone. So if you live in Seattle or Portland or over there somewhere in that area that is blue, hit me up and let me know what it's like over there.
Terrible. Actually, it's great. Sorry. It's great. Especially if you like a lot of rain. They nailed that. I would listen, don't limit yourself. Listen, New York would be great for you guys. They're gonna be freezing rent and free grocery stores and free buses. That's a huge boon. I would say a place like San Francisco. San Francisco might be the only place that could compete with the levels of feces on the streets that you're looking for in Portland and Seattle. I would suggest that. Los Angeles also great. Well, there's more risk of the climate change stuff, obviously. But yeah, anything, if any liberal in the area needs help, I'm not usually the guy that volunteers to help pack a U-Haul, but I will this time. I'll break my own rule for that. We don't even have to know each other. Just text me and I'll help. I'll whatever you need. We need to encourage this more. It's great places to live, especially if you're progressive. So stunning and brave. I hope we see more of this. 11:52, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 11:57, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Mason Fleming doing it. He's been okay today. He's been okay.
Serviceable.
Jay Harper's been outstanding in the newsroom.
Jay's got that voice. Sounds like he should be an announcer for baseball.
I think he was the Globetrotters, right?
Yeah.
He was the
live announcer for the Trotters for a while.
He was
that's
the
nice.
Globetrotters. What's his name? Buffer?
Michael Buffer, yeah.
He was the Globetrotters version of Buffer.
Yeah. I got to yell and scream.
Did you travel around with him, Jay?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Oh, that's so
Dude,
cool.
Jay's got some wild stories.
I love that, Jay. Jay's got some wild stories, Jay. The Generals never won, did they,
Getting
Jay?
wild. Well, no, but I tell you what, they came close a couple of times. And, a lot of those people don't realize that the Generals, a lot of those players, they get, quote unquote, promoted to the Trotters.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's like being a banana. But the difference is the bananas have the other guys are all trying too. And
There's illegal betting going on in that league, too.
In the bananas?
In all those leagues.
I like that, though. That's good. I think they should make them all. I think they should bet their game checks every night.
That's hilarious.
How cool would that be?
What if you just made it so that way you didn't get paid unless you win?
Yeah, you got to bet your game check. So tonight, my $100,000 is against your $100,000.
Yo, that'd be cool.
Tomorrow, you know what?
That's how you would make the NBA Cup, how they want to make that exciting. That would make it exciting.
That would absolutely make it exciting.
You win $100,000 every game.
Every game. Every single game. That's awesome.
That would be dope.
I you know what? And it takes care of the betting because who's throwing that?
Exactly. No, you're right. That would be you should have a win bonus.
Oh, I like that. Let's do it. See, we're coming up with stuff, guys.
We didn't even mean to, and we just fixed pro sports.
Yeah, well, it happens. That's the way I do. That's
incredible.
Where do you find out what to fix later on? I don't know, but it's going to be neat. It'll be on a whim.
And it was your idea, and I'm taking partial credit.
I'm good with that.
I'm taking partial
I'm fine.
credit.
I spread the love. Let's do it.
What are you talking about today, man?
You know what? We're going to talk about, we have some fun stuff to talk about. The Ariana Grande thing is interesting. Did you see that guy rush her?
No.
Yeah, man, it was, and it was so bizarre. And because they were doing the Wizard or whatever it is, the Wizard of Oz thing. And some dude just got by everybody, rushed up to her and grabbed her and stuff. And it was trying to take pictures. But how did somebody get that close to her?
Wasn't there was a meet and greet a few years ago where an artist got shot and killed?
Yeah. So
where's security?
Yeah. And it was so bizarre. The whole time I'm thinking, if that guy from Taken was there, Brian, that would never have happened. I saw that movie.
Wouldn't have happened.
So we're going to talk about, just how close people are getting stars and how weird it's getting and stuff like that. We're going to talk about healthcare a little bit. Who knows what else? We're talk about a lot. Oh, and the guy in Canada took the bus on a bus ride.
He took a bus?
He took a bus, but here's the great thing. He didn't miss a stop. He picked people up and continued to drop people off the entire time he was driving it.
Oh, he took a bus.
He took a bus and didn't take it for a joyride. And people just they'd ring it. He'd pull over. They get off. New people get on. They'd say hi to him, and they just kept going. Nobody to the wiser.
Only in Canada.
Only in Canada, baby. Only. And they're probably, you shouldn't have done that, Probably not very good. You're going to be in a lot of trouble, eh?
Chad's in next. 12:01. Super Talk 99.7. I'm stalling to mess with Mason. WTN.